What's up, y'all, and welcome to In the Wild. And today we are at the Georgia Cyber Center doing a very special episode because October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So what better way to talk about cybersecurity awareness than have some of our own professional folks on campus. So give a warm general welcome to our student guest, Kaylee Andrews.
Hello.
And the Associate Dean for School of Computer and Cyber Sciences, Dr. Walia. How's it going?
Good. How are you
Good.
doing?
Great. Thank y'all for being here. Just diving right in, could you share a little bit about your career paths and how they led to Augusta University, more specifically the School of Computer and Cyber Sciences?
You want me to go first?
I could go first, and then.
Okay.
So this is my fourth institution, or fifth, if you count. I've been at Mississippi State, then I was the graduate program director and assistant associate full professor at North Dakota State, head of computer science at Georgia Southern, and now the associate dean and the graduate program director in School of Computer and Cyber Sciences. And I say this all the time, of all the institutions I've been at, Augusta University is so unique in terms of how it represents the community, which is a big city with a small town feeling, and that you also see in classrooms where students are providing support to each other, supporting their peers, providing support groups, doing clubs, and just volunteering to help each other outside of classrooms. So that's something that really excites me, because that's one thing that motivates me to find energy and try to help folks succeed. And Kaylee will talk about her journey, but I was very fortunate to, when I started in January 22, our then cyber academic coordinator, Marcus, had told me that, hey, there's this girl I've been talking to, she's in the business major, but she's really excited about learning to program. And I still remember us meeting and how she took a programming class and just really loved it. And she told me this is what I was meant to do. And there is no hesitation that this is the path I want to continue. So.
Yeah, so a little like Dr. Walia said, so I started off, I came to Augusta because I was interested in the Dental College of Georgia. So I was like, oh, they have the Dental College of Georgia. I should just be like pre-dental. So I was like, I'll major in business because I want a dental clinic or whatever, you know. So I came in, I did those science classes, and I was like, oh, you know what, never mind. Let me just do a little switch. And so I was talking to my friends, and they were like, hey, you should try computer science. And I was like, well, let me give it a shot. So I tried it, I did the programming class, I really liked it. I ended up meeting Dr. Walia through my advisor Marcus at the time, and I've been doing computer science ever since, and it was like one of the best switches I could have ever made, honestly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and she's progressively done so well that, and I'm going to try to brag about her because she doesn't want to do that. She won the nationally prestigious Department of Defense Scholarship. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, so I did win the Department of Defense CYSP scholarship. I believe there are over like 800 applicants, and they only accepted one from AU for this upcoming year.
Yes.
But right now, I think we have 3 students who are part of the DoD CYSP right now. So.
Yeah, and that pays for 5 years of your education.
They pay for the education, and I believe they give like a $27,000 stipend, and then you pay for books and like computer fees and whatever, you know, else.
How does it feel to be like one of the only in the country to win that?
I feel very honored and grateful, honestly. I was surprised because I had only been doing computer science for like a year when I had applied, so I wasn't expecting anything. I was just like, let me give it a shot. And so, yeah.
And we have 2 of our cybersecurity faculty, Dr. Michael Nowakowski, the head of cyber programs, and Dr. Jeff Morris, who teaches our core cybersecurity courses. They do a really good job at preparing students, doing information sessions so that their applications are top-notch. So I think a lot of credit goes to them too.
Yeah.
And before we go further into like cybersecurity, could you talk a little bit more about the computer science side of the School of Computer and Cyber Sciences?
Yeah, so just based on the history of Augusta University, we had a computer science program and information technology program. We were housed in the College of Business. And computer science, the very first graduate we had who graduated with a bachelor's in computer science was in 1971. So it's an old program. It's not a new program. So when the School of Computer and Cyber Sciences was found with the strategic focus on cybersecurity and developing cybersecurity workforce, the computer science program was supplemented with a lot of electives and additional courses with a focus on cybersecurity. And then that information technology program had concentrations in cybersecurity. Because students were so interested in those concentrations became their own degree programs. So we have one of our largest degree program, BS in cybersecurity, that is that has a designation of Center of Academic Excellence in Cyber Defense. We have our another program really focused on developing penetration testers and called Cyber Operations. A very, very rigorous program. They are based in computer science, but a very rigorous in cybersecurity preparation. We have our very first engineering program in the University System of Georgia in cybersecurity. That's our Bachelor of Science in Cybersecurity Engineering program. We have our latest program, which is secure integration in the systems of systems in medical devices and other systems, is biomedical systems engineering. And we also have a master's degree with a technical cybersecurity concentration. Our PhD program is the only PhD program in the University System of Georgia that requires you to take technical cybersecurity courses as part of your breadth requirement. So even though we have a lot of institutions have standard computer science program, ours is really focused and grounded in preparing you to not just develop software, but develop secure software.
So out of all the different concentrations, opportunities students could have if they want to study here, what would you say is one of the most interesting majors that we have?
So, and this is what we tell all the students, that figure out what your passion is. The only way you'll figure out your passion is not by reading what others have done and others' journey, but really figuring out what works for you. So Kaylee, for her, it was that introductory programming course she took. She's like, hey, this is what I was meant to do. And so the very first year, all our students come, they all take same common courses. They all have to do an introduction to programming. They all have to understand the ethical implications of computing. They all have to take the introduction to cybersecurity and networking. And through that, they figure out, hey, do I like more networking? Do I like more programming? Or do I like more social implications? So, and then they're able to navigate through these different majors and figure out the path for themselves. So that's what I say. Hey, yes, dabble in programming, do things outside of a classroom, but figure out what works for you, what excites you, what motivates you. And for her, she figured out that was what she really enjoyed, and that became a success story.
Yeah.
Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, so like when I was first switching to computer science, I was like, maybe I should do like cybersecurity because I didn't really know the difference. And I think doing those classes actually helped me. I was like, oh, I like programming more, so let me just go into the computer science side. Yeah.
Yeah, and Kaylee is also very involved in Girls Who Code initiative. So it wasn't just about that, hey, because there's always a stigma of women in computing, and I don't want to talk bad about that high school advisor who told you that, hey, you're so good at math, you should pursue a business degree. But there's a lot of social stigma about, hey, women don't belong in computing. So she's doing things outside of a classroom and mentoring other female students and high schoolers to break those boundaries and say, hey, women belong in computing, and if this is what excites you, motivates you, then that is what you should follow.
Yeah, Kelly, could you talk a little bit about Girls Who Code for those who are unfamiliar?
Yeah, so originally we didn't even have a Girls Who Code like loop at the school. So we started about, I want to say
2022.
Yeah, 2022, a year ago. And ever since, like we've had so many people join, and they just talked about like how little girls there are. Like in my 1302 class, there's only 2 other girls in my class, and so it's just basically a community where we can all come together, talk about our problems, just talk in general, and just learn together and make those connections. And it's been such a success ever since. Like we've had so many people come and join, and it's been awesome.
And we want to also credit Dr. Jason Orlowski.
Yeah.
He's one of the faculty advisor, and that kind of shows you don't have to be female to support women in cybersecurity or women in computing causes. And he's the one who's so excited about working with students, so actively engaged. And Kaylee's actually his undergraduate research assistant as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you just did a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I dabble.
Yeah. And I think that also is what is so unique about Augusta University. And Dr. Jason Orlowski is native Augusta kid.
Okay.
He went to Georgia Tech, then he went to Japan and came back, and really wants to grow the local talent. And so easy to work with, and really, really excited about these things. And this was his idea about, hey, I know some female students who are interested about starting a club, and it hit instantly, and it's grown to be quite a big.
Yeah.
That's great. Kaylee, could you talk a little bit about some of the hands-on experiences you've had so far in the program?
In like computer science?
Yeah,
or
computer
just in
science or
general,
Girls Who Code or any other like just unique experiences that you have to share?
Yeah, so for Girls Who Code, we coded a little game. Basically, it's just like find the treasure in a certain area. So I know for me, like I did Peter Pan, and I was like, oh, find the treasure and avoid Captain Hook. And we had that like as a little activity, and we watched all the other girls like make a certain program where they're finding and doing certain stuff. And I know like I did an internship at Savannah River National Laboratory, and we created an application that organizes and automates documents for them. So
cool.
that's a little bit of hands-on that I've been doing so far.
I don't want to. We were talking to your recruiter as SRNL, and she was all gaga about her, and she's like, "Yeah, we want to recruit more of your students.
Yeah.
Kaylee's doing so good." Yeah, but go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, you're good.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
good. And even for research, we're creating a hologram right now. So basically, say you're in a research conference and I'm at home on my computer and I call you. And so in that room with you is going to be a robot, and on that Raspberry Pi robot is going to be like a camera and like a Ruco marker, which is like a fancy QR code. So you have like a little HoloLens 2 headset on, so you scan the QR code with your headset, and then a 3D image of my face will appear, and I'll be able to like travel and look around the room because I'm not there, so I'll be able to see everything. You'll just see my little 3D image walking around. But it's in the works right now, so that's what I've learned so much doing like all these different projects, and I've had such a blast doing them. Like I've learned so much.
Right. And I think as she's starting in her, she's done some of the core computer science courses, and now she's taking cybersecurity courses, the more advanced cybersecurity courses, those, because we are in such close proximity with Georgia Cyber Center, some of their cyber labs provide us this opportunity to do hands-on stuff that other institutions that offer cybersecurity degrees do not have. So it's, I think there will be a lot more she'll be able to do.
So switching gears to, I guess, to more cybersecurity stuff, since it is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, what are some common misconceptions that you think still kind of hurt, just like the common internet user?
People thinking that they're not a target. Like people thinking that they always like target the bigger companies like Google and stuff. It's like, no, like even you, like we had a lot of cybersecurity attacks this past year on AU students, like people accepting Duo from California, knowing they're in Augusta. Like, it's just so important to be aware of cybersecurity because it hacks like your whole account, and now you got to figure out all of this crazy stuff. So yeah.
Do you have anything to add on to
No,
that?
I think a lot of the students and even those who are not very used to technology, I mean, they always ask questions about, hey, how do I connect when I'm traveling at the airports, hotspots, some of these just basic ways on safeguarding your information. That's very, very important. And the School of Computer and Cyber Sciences is actually working on a really exciting project where we want to have a Gen Ed course, a general education core curriculum where we expose everybody to what are the basics of cybersecurity, introduction to cybersecurity. And I think considering the Cybersecurity Awareness Month, that would be such a great addition to core curriculum at all USG. Other institutions, they have some of the introduction to cybersecurity or introduction to problem solving type of courses, and that is something that Augusta University, with its mission towards cybersecurity and cybersecurity workforce development, everybody at AU should be exposed to that. And I think that's something we're very excited about.
And if you had to give just like your biggest tip to just the average person about cybersecurity, something, what would it be? Something to do or not to do?
It's just as somebody wanting to study cybersecurity?
Or just the average person to just protect themselves from a hacking or some sort of cyber attack?
Remember your passwords?
Create a good password. You don't want to just have like regular numbers and letters.
Everything is now password protected, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you go to any new app, you have the same passwords you're using over and over again. And they're often your middle name and your mother's name and your birth date. So those kind of things are very basic things you can do. Don't share them. Don't write on them on the sticky.
On the sticky note.
So develop passwords that are unique, but you remember them.
And don't trust random links. Yeah, like even websites that you think can be trusted, they get hacked too. So just be safe and just know what to click and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because it made me think of like the annual compliance training that we have to have for cybersecurity, of just like not choosing links that look fishy.
Yeah.
I remember when I was at another institution, one fine Sunday, I got an email from somebody who was claiming to be my boss and saying, hey, could you send me $20? I'm stuck here and I need to buy a gift card. And of course, that email wasn't correct. So I think, but some people acted on that.
Switching gears again, Dr. Walia, could you talk about any partnerships that are happening with the school and maybe other local agencies and companies here in the Augusta area?
Right. So we talk about this so much that the ecosystem we have here with Georgia Cyber Center, Department of Defense, Department of Energy entities, the startups, and two big educational units in Augusta Technical College, a 2-year institutions, and Augusta University School of Computer and Cyber Sciences. This is unlike I've ever seen anywhere. Where there's a lot of partnerships between 2-year and 4-year college, Augusta Technical College and Augusta University, as well as between educational institutions and the corporate and defense partners. All of our students do have opportunities in their junior and senior years to work at Georgia Cyber Center while they're taking classes. And that is such a unique setting where they get an understanding of what one life will be after graduation, but also get an understanding of the stuff they're learning in classroom, how does that relate to workplace. And Kaylee, you're doing the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, they have so many opportunities. Like I worked at the IT desk, I was doing undergraduate research. Like there's like so much you can do to, gain that hands-on experience.
Right, and we have a lot of collaborations with just the community as well. I know Cyber Patriot is a big camp that we do in the summer. Dr. Nowakowski, the head of cyber programs, he runs a Viceroy camp for middle school students who are interested in cybersecurity and computing. We have a Gen Cyber camp that is sponsored by NSA that we do for rising juniors and seniors to get them interested in cybersecurity, help them understand what the career would be before they decide which college and what major they want to choose, so that they're making more informed decision. So.
And also, just kind of as we're wrapping up here, what trends do you see happening in the computer science, cybersecurity field over the next couple of years that you would hope the school kind of takes advantage of?
I know that artificial intelligence is really big now, so maybe
Data
doing
science.
data science, more classes and stuff on that would be cool as it increases. Yeah.
Right, and the school is working on a whole lot of initiatives. We just started the biomedical systems engineering program. That was a big one. Since you were talking about the attacks, there's a whole lot of ransomware attacks at hospitals where they got unauthorized access to information. The insulin pumps, all these medical devices that have wireless capability but don't have inbuilt wireless security. So our biomedical systems engineering program, and Dr. Morris, who was a big proponent of that program and the director of biomedical systems engineering, that's a great new program that integrates cybersecurity in the healthcare informatics field. And so that's the direction. Everything is so interdisciplinary, cross-disciplinary. Even our computer science programs are very different from other vanilla computer science programs. These software and hardware security is inbuilt into different courses. So you're not just learning how as you develop software, but also to develop software that is secure. And our cybersecurity degrees, in addition to our cybersecurity degrees, we also have advanced cyber defender certificates that we're really catering to our Fort Gordon and other active duty who started with a different degree program but want to transition into cyber workforce. So that those sort of outreach programs are really big for us. And our doctorate program in the computer and cyber sciences, that's the one that is growing fast. And we, I think we're this close, 3 students close to 100 graduate student body.
Okay.
So that has been really fast growth, and that has been because of the strategic importance at growing research, growing the graduate population in the School of Computer and Cyber Sciences.
And last question for y'all, one piece of advice to a new student who's just about to start their computer science or cybersecurity journey with us, what would you tell them?
We got so many students who are told by parents, we want you to be the next dentist, next surgeon. We were talking yesterday with some student, she's like, hey, my parents want me to be do a pre-med, but I'm not interested in pre-med, and she changed her major to cybersecurity, and she's like, I'm loving it. So I think that's the advice we say. I tell people that figure out what excites you. If there are some courses you're not sure about, just take them. If you struggle, then that means that's just not the right path for you. And the other thing we always tell students, one of the strategic focus at Augusta University is small classrooms. Even though we've grown from 6 faculty to 45 faculty today or more, our student numbers have doubled or tripled. We've still stayed true to our character of small class sizes.
Yeah.
And there's more attention paid. We have undergraduate course assistants, we have tutors, we have student clubs, so help is available. Do not struggle, reach out. So I think that's a big part of our retention, that we want to be very, very involved and engaged. So that's what I'd say.
Yeah, I would say put yourself out there. Go to the clubs, like Cybertronic Makers Club. They coded LED lights last meeting,
nice.
And they have so much to give, and just take advantage of your moment and try to do the IT desk job. You'll learn so much. I'm serious. It was so much fun. So yeah, put yourself out there, meet people, talk to people, gain that knowledge. Just be a sponge, and you'll be fine.
Well, thanks so much for chatting with me. I really appreciate all the insights that y'all have. And y'all that are watching, stay tuned and we'll be right back. What's up, y'all? We are continuing our episode with all things Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And today we have an assistant professor from the School of Computer and Cyber Sciences. And he's going to talk to us a little bit more about some other cool things going on here at the Georgia Cyber Center. So give a warm welcome to Dr. Jeff Morris. How's it going?
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for being here. Excited to have you. I want to say that one of the biggest things that's happening right now within the school is this new biomedical systems engineering degree. Could you talk to us a little bit about what that degree is, especially for folks like me who those words you have an idea of, but I want you to make sense of it all.
No, absolutely. So we've seen for years now that the healthcare field is under attack. You hear about hospitals or clinics that are constantly malware and breaches and loss of your data, health data. So a couple years ago, the Savannah River National Lab approached Augusta University and said, we are doing healthcare research, device research, and so could you help us put together, we see need for graduates that can walk out of a educational environment like we have here, and then immediately go into the healthcare organization, walk into a hospital or a clinic and say, I'm here to help, I understand cybersecurity. So what we've done is relying on our partnership with SRNL, and then of course reaching out to the Medical College of Georgia, I mean, why not? And then College of Science and Mathematics and Dental College of Georgia, put together a team of deans, and we sat down and said, well, if we wanted someone to have a grounding in biomedical, in other words, the medical and the biology, in this case, the information and the equipment, not designing the stuff, but actually running it, how does all that medical stuff creates information, and it goes into the ether somewhere. How are we doing, how are we handling it, how do they talk to the devices, how do the devices talk to each other, how does that stuff end up in your health record? And so leveraging all that together, we put together a program, biomedical systems engineering. Systems engineering being this, it's a type of engineering where you look at systems as systems. It just isn't mechanical engineering or aeronautical engineering, it's engineering of systems, which can be very, very complex. And you think about hospital and all the different things that are working together to make it work. And so there are people that just do nothing but make systems work and talk to one another. So we looked across the United States. There's, to our knowledge, no other undergraduate program of this type in the United States. So we're the first. Typically, this is a graduate level type of program where you take a healthcare, someone who's been in the area for years, and then they go and learn about cybersecurity. And it's really too late. So we need people walking out the door, can walk in, they can talk to doctors and nurses, they speak the lingo, they know how health informatics, health information systems work, and then they can say, I'm here to help you with your cybersecurity.
So I know the program hasn't officially started yet, but could you, I guess, look further out and just looking ahead, like what would you like for the future of this program to be?
Well, we're in our first semester of it. We offer our first class in spring of next year. And so what we would like is we would like to build a thorough education grounded in up-to-date medical technology, relying on the MCG. Of course, all of our cybersecurity material is updated every semester. And then we want to have partnerships with Savannah River National Labs and Piedmont Hospital and MCG and anybody else I can get to come partner with us so that our students have the broadest possible education and exposure to what is actually happening in the health field so they can go out there and they can help.
That sounds really cool, especially for someone like me that's not involved in the cybersecurity side of things at all. But what kind of hands-on experiences would students get as they go through this program?
Well, as typical of any program, you've got about 2 years worth of all of your undergraduate or your gen ed type stuff, but there's a lot of math. There's some science, biology, chemistry, some engineering along with it, because you'll be working with not only biological systems, people, you'll be working with information, the cyber, and you'll be working with hands-on with actual material. So all of the devices, that are in the hospital, the informatics, cell phones. You've got wearable technology now that are starting to show up. All of those have different things they bring to the healthcare field. And so we want our graduates to be exposed to them. There'll be some biomedical device research that we're starting up this semester. Dr. Michael Nowakowski has been doing that for several years now, but we're now working with Savannah River National Labs. We'll be spinning up a new device research grant and doing some work with them. So we hope to get our students involved in that. So they've done some research on these devices while being exposed to the health informatics and healthcare in itself.
And I guess diving more into the SRNL partnership, how do you go about, I guess, finding the right students and kind of working with SRNL to make sure that they're getting what they want and the students are getting what they want and the school is getting what they want out of all of that collaboration?
So again, it's a collaboration, and we have to ask. The SRNL, along with healthcare organizations, are our customers. They're the people that receive our graduates. So we've had discussions with the laboratory about where they see healthcare and medical devices going. We've looked at what we call the Internet of Things, looking forward about, hey, what is coming down the road? What are the new cool devices that patients in 5 years from now will be wearing and doctors will be using? If you remember 10, 15 years ago, there's barely any electronic devices in a doctor's office. Nowadays, everything is all automatic. They hook you up to a machine, it takes all your vitals, everything, and then that all becomes a part of the health record. And so that conversation, along with, partners, Medical College, General College, Georgia, being leaders in their field, will help us understand what is it that our students need to know. I just had a conversation with the health informatics program over MCG, so we're getting our students to take their courses and then working with them to look at senior projects for our students that are helping solve real-world issues that partners and outside agencies come to us with.
Could you give some examples of those like real-world issues and like any wearable technology that you think is really cool that you would like to be working with?
Well, I'll give you kind of historical examples. One of the more frightening things, about 6 years ago, there was a implantable pacemaker. It had a wireless capability built into it. It was supposed to monitor the patient's heart and had an app on a cell phone that if irregularities showed up, that the device could administer the proper shocks to the heart to bring everything back online. Come to find out, that wireless connection had no cyber defenses whatsoever, and it was very easy to hack into that communication channel, and somebody could actually reprogram the device in a patient's chest to do things.
Oh, yeah,
so
that's scary.
They had to recall the pacemaker, and there were individuals in the United States who had to go back through surgery to have that device removed and have another device implanted. So this is the type of things we want to stop. We want to ensure that any health device that has any type of communications with it is secure. But information is now king. All of these devices have some type of communication built into them. Are they being built properly? Is there cybersecurity built into it? And then conversely, on the receiving side, what are hospitals doing? What are clinics doing to receive the information? How are they storing it? How are they transmitting it? How easy is it to walk into a hospital with the appropriate hacking gear and do bad things without the people in the hospital understanding what was going on?
Yeah, that's very interesting. It makes me think of, I'm not sure if you're a Grey's Anatomy fan, but a few seasons ago they did this episode of the hospital that they worked in being under a cyber attack where someone was able to access all of their records and information and was able to, kind of put that information on hold. So for me, hearing that makes me think of this is a very interesting time where, all sorts of information that lives in a hospital can be under attack in this way.
It has been a significant issue since COVID, especially. or hospitals, healthcare organizations, they have to have their data. So if I can attack, get inside, and then encrypt their data, what we call ransomware, sure, the hospital has to have their data back, so they'll be willing to pay the money to get it back. They don't have time to wait 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 weeks to recover from an attack. It's getting better. The defenses are getting better. The amount of ransomware attacks is going down, but they're not going away. It is unfortunately going to live. It's not going anywhere. And then the proliferation of what we call the Internet of Things, you can see them all over your house. Well, it's doing the same thing in the medical community. How many people have some type of, say like a Fitbit recorder or other type of device that records your walking, your heart rate? Smart watches do it, and those things are being hooked into healthcare systems to provide a better snapshot of a person's activities and health. But again, is that whole ecosystem, is it defensible? Are defenses built in, and what happens when something goes wrong?
And so with the biomedical systems engineering, those students or graduates will be able to make sure that the technology, but also I guess just the healthcare system at large that they're protecting is secure and defensible.
Yes, that's the intent of the graduates. There's, right now we're short about 250,000 cyber defenders in the United States alone. That number is expected to increase over the next 15 to 20 years. So it's competing for a very small pool of individuals. And face it, most of the hospitals in the United States are very small, as in most health clinics. And if they even have anybody that is a cyber defensive person rather than just IT making the computers work, does that person have a grounding in healthcare, or is it just somebody they managed to hire, bring on, and now they're going to spend 6, 12, 18 months just trying to understand how the health systems work in the United States? And so they're always going to be behind. They're trying to apply the cyber, but learning this new ecosystem, and that's where many of your healthcare cybersecurity specialists are constantly behind. So let's get ahead of that. Let's give people a good grounding in the healthcare field and give them a good understanding of cyber security at the same time.
So if you had the time and the resources to find and tweak a wearable technology, what would you choose?
Find and tweak wearable technology. I don't have any type of disagreement with it. I think it brings a lot of benefits. What I don't think is enough emphasis is being placed upon the security of the device. All these devices, they're made by companies that need to make a profit, and anything extra that you put in has costs, and nobody wants to pay for more stuff. So we're really going to have to force the issue of making these type of devices secure. The FDA just recently, within the last 2 months, put out a set of requirements to manufacturers of healthcare devices in the United States. For the first time, they're requiring cybersecurity testing of devices and cybersecurity requirements on healthcare devices. But how long have we had healthcare devices and we're just now mandating cybersecurity?
So do you have any recommendations or tips for people that use wearable devices, or I guess that have to have some of these devices to make them more secure?
Well, number one, ask what it is. Don't just take it and say, sure, it's great. I have a smartwatch. It does all kinds of tracking. I went through it and made sure what it was tracking and where that data was going. We all see the terms of use and we just hit OK without really understanding where our data's going and who's using it. And that's the thing. If you're OK with the data being collected and being used, that's fine, but at least make the effort to understand who's collecting and what they're using it for.
And last question before I let you go, to all of our listeners, what motivates you or to kind of keep going in your respective role?
Well, for me, it's every day is something different. I get up every morning, and as I'm having my breakfast, I'm looking at cyber websites and cyber news and threat intelligence and all of the things that just every day it changes, every night. I go to bed, I get up in the morning, and cyber is different. So it allows me or forces me to stay on my toes. I teach cyber classes here in the School of Computer Cyber Sciences, and no matter what I'm teaching in the class that day, that morning I can find something that resonates or is exactly about what I'm about ready to teach. So it is just an ever-changing field, and that's, I think, one of the most exciting things about it.
Well, thank you for chatting with me today. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure all of our listeners have so much to think about now for especially wearable technology, but especially with this new program. So thank you.
And thank you for inviting me.